This is Heinzie, host of Harpoons and Beer, proud member of the ANZGC and the Escape Pod Castaways network. This show was recorded in front of a live studio audience. Today's episode will contain spoilers for episode 9. You have been warned. I'm also here to remind you that no one is ever really gone, and never mess with the ANZGC.
One is a Grand Arena specialist from the UK. The other is a territory battle tactician from the US. Together, there are no signs of intelligent life on board. With both having played this game since launch, the one thing we are sure of is that you will be entertained. The Escape Pod Cast, a service of the Escape Pod Castaways. A weekly podcast about the mobile game Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. Live from the network studios of Yavin 4, here are your hosts, Neil Andrew Eyre and Paul Anthony.
Coming up on this week's edition of the Escape Pod Cast,
we react to the week that was with 3v3GAC. Oh yeah.
Our hashtag Return to Hoth campaign seemed to pick up some steam,
but it remains to be seen if CG will actually respond.
General Hugs gets a rework in his second week,
but it isn't as bad as it could have been.
Going Nerdy will be here as we merge streams in Talk Mando in our second segment.
And spoiler alert, yes, spoiler alert, we will be talking episode 9 in our third segment with him as well.
And in honor of Thaddeus, we don our tinfoil hats and speculate what 2020 will bring to the game. We'll have 2020 vision, Nev.
What else? Oh, yes. And we set our sights on our Christmas week episode.
You know what, Neil? You pilot the ship this week, why don't you? I am still processing episode 9.
Oh, you got it, mate. All this and breaking news from the week right here on the Escape Pod Cast.
The Escape Pod Cast News.
And welcome into this week's very, very special edition of the Escape Podcast. We will be simulcasting, but you'll still hear this on our normal channels. But we're going to be simulcasting with Thaddeus from Going Nerdy for our weekly Talking Mando segment. And then, after that, we're going to end up transitioning into Talking Rise of Skywalker. So this show, I'm warning you now. Spoiler alert, Neil. Spoiler alert.
Yes, lots and lots of spoilers. Remember, you and Thaddeus have to see how many times you can go, oh no, oh wow, so spoilers. Everybody, I haven't watched the movie, so Thaddeus and Paul will be, giving me spoilers. Now, full disclosure, obviously, I haven't watched the movie, but for the last 3 months, I've been reading every scrap of leak I could get my hands on, so I might not be surprised. But yes, big spoiler warning. So if you don't want to hear it, you definitely want to tune out for, what's that? That's going to be our third segment, isn't it, Paul?
That's going to be the third segment. That's going to be approximately about an hour into the show. What I will do is I will go back, and this is a little service I'm going to be doing for our listeners. If you don't want to be spoiled on episode 6, and you know what? I may have to do this for Mando as well, my friend.
Really? You think
and not episode 6, episode 9. Well, yeah, because we do have some UK listeners and they still don't have Mando.
Yeah, look,
they still don't have Disney Plus.
Anybody in the UK that listens to us is going to be, getting their hands on that, the episode of the Mando, whether they're sailing the high seas or whether they're using a VPN. They'll be watching it one way or the other. They will be watching it.
All right.
And that is not an endorsement.
I will then do it. I won't do it for Mando.
Yeah, no. We won't do it for Mando. I mean, I agree with doing it for the movie because you should at least give it a couple of weeks for the movie.
Okay, so what we're gonna do at the beginning of when we're talking about episode 9, what we will do is I will give you a time code to fast forward to in our show I'll go back in post-production and I will give you guys a time code. You won't hear it live because I won't know until the end of everything. But I will go back in post-production. If you're listening to this on a podcast format, then you will have a time code to fast forward to. If you are listening to us live on our Discord channel, this is what I'm going to do. I will do another listener tag when it's time to come back and listen to the ending, because we have an ending this week that you do not want to miss, Neil.
Oh, no. People do not want to miss the ending. They really, really don't. Absolutely not. It's going to be a wonderful, wonderful, lovely ending. Better than...
Yes, this ending has been in the works for, I would say probably 44 weeks.
Yes. Some endings are good and some endings are just, so bad you want the end to end. But, people aren't going to want this end to end.
Well, as I said, we're not going to... I don't want to hear your opinions on Rise of Skywalker yet, Neil.
Oh, no. I'm not talking about Rise of Skywalker.
I know. I'm just giving you crap.
I know you're giving me crap. I mean, for starters, while we're on the subject of ends, end of Rogue One, ending to a movie ever. I'm just putting it out there.
You broke up there a lot. On my side, did you say worst or best?
Worst ending.
Worst.
Worst ending for a Star Wars movie ever.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of the Escape Podcast. We'll no longer be having any sort of no. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm really, really taken back by that.
You're taken back by that?
Let's not digress.
Okay, yeah, we are digressing
Let's
here.
not digress.
Let's not talk about the piss poor ending to Rogue One. Let's talk about Hoth.
Hoth.
Back to Hoth.
And returning to Hoth. Mm-hmm. Yes, returning to Hoth. Hashtag back to Hoth. Hashtag return to Hoth. Hashtag damn it CG, make it easier. How did we do?
I think did relatively well. Now that's, it wasn't like one of these, campaigns where we got overwhelmingly supported by hundreds and thousands. It was more, a vocal minority. I put something on Reddit, we put the video on my channel. We put the video on the Escape Pod channel. It got more likes than it got dislikes. It got lots of views. The comments and the interactions seemed to be relatively positive. The Reddit post got the kind of half and half I expected to. A bunch of people just kept on with the opinion that they're not gonna not do it because the GET2 currency is just too important, and trying to get through to these people and say, well, if you're trying to get your gas or you're trying to get your Malik up to 7 stars, well, then Hoth makes a lot more sense because you're going to get twice as much of that currency than you are of the GET2. And let's be honest, most people are still just going for that 5-star negotiator or a 5-star malevolence. And out of those two, it's
well, I've got it at 6, and it's at halfway through the 6th star for my personal one, and I still went back to Hoth, and not because I came up with the idea or anything like that. I wanted to make a statement to CG to say, you know what, you said if people did something that was measurable, that you would take that into consideration. I'm really hoping that it was measurable. We gained subscribers on the channel. We gained there were a lot more likes than dislikes on the Escape Pod as well. On Reddit, what did you get?
I mean, we got some positives.
Miss you saying that?
Negatives. Just to say, a couple of people just did some one sentences. Everyone doesn't want to complain, just more of this sub, or bless your heart. I don't think this is going to go the way you hope. CG doesn't care if you do Hoth. Back to Tamariel. Unfortunately, some in my guild are choosing to do Lightside Geo. I'm trying to convince them otherwise, but I'm starting to to doubt my guild can help make a difference with making a change to light side geo. Holding hope though, so Yo Nev, my guild is returning to Hoth bait. So there was. I think that there were some people that did want to do it, but were in guilds that didn't really want to do it and didn't see the point in it. And what I saw was more. I won't say I saw more negativity. I think it was a third positive, a third apathy, and a third just not caring. So I wouldn't say it was 50-50 split. I'd say it's been more of a three-way split. A third of people looked at it positively and wanted to join in and did join in, and they were very, very supportive of our efforts to try and return people to Hoth, to work with the numbers and see if we can get CG to recognize something like that. And then there was the third that were just apathetic, that were like, CG doesn't care, they're not going to listen, doing this makes no difference. It's not really negative. I wouldn't put that down as negative. I would put that down as apathetic. So, when it's not matter, it's not going to matter. That's
right. You've stated that. Yeah, you've stated that time and time again, and it is what it is. We've tried. Mm-hmm. I hope we've done enough. Mm-hmm. And the only thing is we will see.
We will see. Exactly.
We will see. Now let's try. We've got right up until the top of the hour here. We've got about another 15 minutes or so before we have to throw it to a commercial and get back in time for Thaddeus. And we got a lot to talk about. One of the quick things that I'm going to talk about real quick is the Hux rework. Honestly, as we said in the open, it could have been much worse. They took the Hux rework and they said, all right, fine, it's going to be for just first order. Your entire team has to be first order, so you can't do the mix and match or use Watt to gain an advantage. I'm okay with that. What about you, Nev?
Well, I think a lot of people were excited at the prospect of Hux being a plug-and-play character, a bit like Thrawn or Hermit Yoda. I think that was genuinely exciting. Some people, I know that there were a couple people, theory crafters.
But they weren't marquees. No. They were not. They were not marquees, though, and a marquee shouldn't be that powerful technically, even though Bastila is.
Well, it wasn't the power thing. Obviously, you could take him to Gear 12. That was a bug. That was something that CG left in there because they didn't test it. If they had some beta testers, it probably wouldn't have got through. I'm thinking more of the controlling, the control nature. Hermit Yoda is brilliant because you can control from character to character to character who's going to be getting called for assist, and you get to do all of the heals, and that's one of the reasons why he's such a great plug and play. Likewise with Thrawn. Thrawn's exactly the same. Right. Hux, I think people were excited at the prospect of some really, really good theory crafting with him, and now that the nerf has effectively made him redundant from a generalized use of him, and it's kind of shoeboxed him into first order. I get that. He is first order, so his specials should just be for the first order.
I'm sure there's more. There's going to be lots more first order coming out in the next few months with the whole movie and all that.
We are going to get a lot more marquees. So I imagine there's probably going to be some more first order characters coming out that he works really, really well with. So prospects are still looking quite good.
Correct. And I'm thinking that it's going to be along the lines of what we saw when the whole Revan, the Knights of the Old Republic thing came out with Revans, because apparently there's 15 characters supposedly needed for these galactic heroes or whatever they're going to be called. Now,
was it Galactic Legend?
Galactic Legend.
Yeah, still makes me laugh.
So it's a legendary and
There's
a galactic.
One Galactic Legend. It's a galactic legendary. Yeah,
you feel that way. You feel that way. Don't project on everyone else.
Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker is going to be Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker will be the one true galactic legend when he comes out. I'll be happy when that
See,
happens. That'd
you're
be good.
projecting.
I just hope I've got all 15 characters when he comes out.
15? You mean 50 for Galactic Luke Skywalker?
Oh, God.
Anyway.
Yeah, Galactic Legend Luke Skywalker, yeah.
Galactic Legendary Luke Skywalker, Epic Confrontation, Marquee Buster, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
All right. So they released, I clicked on the wrong thing. They released a game update just recently. And in that game update, they just laid out a bunch of content update. They removed 4 mods from mod shipments. They also...
I know, that was so good.
Yeah.
That was so good. I was like, when T Money mentioned that on Twitter, I was like, literally, yeah, baby, at last.
They gave us the bacon sandwich in the shop. Let's see. Yeah, it comes in fleet data cards, fleet packs, and shipments. Not in any of the other. I can't use my Zeta monies on a fleet shipment or anything like that. Heroes of the Resistance. They gave us a new Finn, which we'll get to here in a moment. But they also released a bunch of packs. Relic Cargo Pack, Festive Relic Pack, Jolly Festive Relic Pack, Jubilant Festive Relic Pack, Holiday Gear Grab Pack, Daily Holiday Kit, Daily Holiday Character Bundle Wampa, Hermit Yoda, General Kenobi, Darth Treya. So, they've given us a bunch of adjective festive packs, and I think it's just another extension of the Hyperdrive bundle, Neil.
Yeah, it's. I think they kind of anticipated that there would be a drop off on spending immediately after the Hyperdrive bundle, and being in a shard that had a lot of people purchase it, I've got to say, I'm seeing it firsthand. I really am seeing it firsthand. A lot of accounts that, a week ago bought the Hyperdrive bundle. Now, some of them did continue to whale. They bought extra shards so that they could beef up that one squad. But I'm seeing a lot of accounts that bought that Hyperdrive bundle that have kind of stagnated. So they've just used what came in the Hyperdrive bundle to boost their squad, and then they've kind of stopped. And these holiday packs, these holiday bundles, I think these holiday bundles are really, really, really going to potentially coax some of those people that made that initial $100 purchase. It might coax them to buy some more. Clearly the people that bought the Hyperdrive bundle then did no more spending are looking for bargains, because we know that the Hyperdrive bundle was the bargain of the century. And I think that, I was kind of hoping that this wasn't going to happen, but now I'm looking at these bundles. I'm thinking to myself, oh no, here we go again.
Yeah, I'll say this. It was at least the bundle of this decade.
Yeah. There will never be another bundle like it. This bundle is like the holy grail.
Decade. There will never be another bundle like it in this decade. There will not be another bundle like it.
No other mobile game with microtransactions would be crazy enough to do this. And like you said, now they've got the holiday bundles coming out. It's definitely going to be interesting to see people buy them. See, because there's going to be lots of credits in there. There's going to be lots of crystals in there, and it's going to have lots of those little bits and pieces in there that will just give extra boosts and extra fluffs to people's squads, plus a few extra shards.
Okay, well, right, and you do know, Neil, that us here on the Escape Whale podcast, as referred to by Mobile Gamer.
Yes.
The Escape Whale podcast. We do like to talk about the new characters, and we have what I'm referring to as RHF, Resistance Hero Finn. Are you inspired by his kit? Do you think that you're going to rally around him, Neil? Do you like this kit? And if you were someone that wailed, would you be wailing right away? Just for what the character can do.
I don't care. I don't care about characters and what they can and cannot do. when they're marquee releases until they're farmable. Once it becomes farmable, it's a case of, right, okay, how expensive, how long is it going to take to farm this character? Is it worth it? Then I look at, is their kit worth the time and the effort and the grind to farm them? But before that, I don't really think about it because I'm free to play. And if I started looking at the kit and it looked absolutely awesome and it looked really, really good, I'd start thinking, oh no, I'm worried I'm going to be coming up against people. But I will say his kit is good. It does look like he's got a resistance version. He's a resistance version of Thrawn. He does a turn meter swap, which I think is nice. It makes a change. That was kind of a unique mechanic to Thrawn, which made Thrawn such a good character, and they've given it to a resistance character now. And Finn, I don't know why they threw the hero in there. I get that it's a second Finn and they need to put some other name there, but I don't know why they just call it Resistance Finn.
Well, if you'd go watch a movie.
Well, no, we had Princess Leia, and then we had Rebel Officer Leia Organa. They didn't call her, Rebel Hero Leia Organa. It was just Rebel because she was Rebel Officer Leia Organa. I'm just a bit confused why they would throw hero in there. It's not something. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's not a tag that a tag. It's not something that they've put in the title of other characters. They haven't done Darkseid. Villain Darth Vader. The villainous Darth Vader.
I'm sure they will.
Maybe if they bring out another version of Darth Vader, they would have to come up with, Dark Lord of the Sith Vader. I don't know. Who knows? I just think.
Well, we do have Sith. Yeah, we do have Sith Order Trooper now.
Yeah. I just think that they've thrown hero in there. It's because people don't know who he is. It's like, oh, he's a hero. He's a resistance hero. It's like, oh, is he really? Yeah. It says resistance hero. It's in the title. So, for those that don't know that he's resistance hero, it's being telegraphed to you. For those people that look at that character and go, it's Finn. So, yeah.
So, all right. So, we have just over 2 minutes. Was there anything else this week that really struck you that we can't save for the final segment?
Let me think. Just goodbye to a friend from the Shard. Kind of sad, really, that it's happened, but Saito has mothballed the project, the farming project, because of the bundle,
because of this hyperdrive bundle,
hyperdrive bundle. Yeah. And I must admit, when he announced it in his Discord server yesterday, I was absolutely gutted. I get it. I understand why he's done it. The project is 100% dependent on the ability to be successful in a free-to-play format, and the free-to-play format is dead in the early stages. So I understand why he's gone, and I tip my hat to you, Saito. I hope you come back with a new project, and I hope you kick ass at it, mate.
I'm sure he will. He's a numbers guy like me. All right, so to explain what's coming up here, coming up after this break, we're going to be simulcasting. If you've never heard us before, you're going to be hearing us on Thaddeus's channel in an escape pod format. We are going to be live on Going Nerdy with Talking Mando, where we talk about The Mandalorian. We're going to be focusing on episode 7 of The Mandalorian here this week. And then coming up after that, we will be, spoiler alert, we will be talking about Rise of the Skywalker on that same thing after a break. Even if you go away, come on our Discord channel, mute the TV, mute the stuff until we are done, and we'll give you a heads up. You do not want to miss this week's ending. This week's ending changes the game of the Escape Podcast. Aren't I right, Neil?
Oh, yes, it does. It does.
All right. All right, stick around, guys. There's more coming up right after this live simulcast right here on Discord and on Thaddeus's channel of Going Nerdy on YouTube, right here on the Escape Pod Cast.
The Escape Pod Cast with Paul Anthony and Neil Andrew Ware.
Micaeus Modding Mayhem is the premier remodding service for the game that we all love, Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. With some of the most affordable rates in the industry, Micaeus will rebuild your roster from top to bottom and give you consultation on where to go from there. Micaeus has a 100% satisfaction guarantee and lots of useful additional services, including a full cleanup of your mods, loadout pages, PvP plans, and more. Contact Micaeus today on Discord at all lowercase Micaeus number 0127. That's MIKAYAS number 0127, or at micaeusmods@gmail.com. Micaeus Modding Mayhem, the official remodding service of the Escape Pod Cast.
The Escape Pod Cast now offers our faithful listeners a way to show their support via merchandise. Declare your allegiance to Team Paul or Team Neil with official shirts. Get a story time with the llama button or magnet. Or just represent the show by getting an official logo hoodie. There are now even Team Scotty and Team Heinze options available too. Become an official Padawan today. Check out the merch at escapepodcastaways.com.
And now time for something completely shameless.
Huh? I wonder what that could be. What's this? A package? Oh yeah, this must be the new droid I just purchased. It's finally here. Alright, let's bring this inside, open it up, and see what we got. Let's get this out of the box. There's a lot of packing peanuts in this thing. Oh boy, that thing was heavy. Alright, instruction manual. Here we go. Okay. Congratulations on the purchase of your refurbished droid from Derelict Droids, blah 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 blah. Warning. Be careful to... Nah, who cares? Can't be that important. Quick start instructions. There it goes. Okay, quick start instructions. Don't forget. Power on. Okay, alright, let's see here. Switch A next to joint C, like an IKEA furniture manual. There it goes. Power on.
Designation N0. Imprinting.
0B. Please stand by.
Imprinting.
Please stand by.
Please. Imprinting.
Please stand by.
Please stand by.
Come on, I don't got time to waste. Come on.
Scan complete.
Imprinted on bipedal hairless creature. Preparing greeting.
I am designation N00B. Are you my new master?
Yes. NOOB. I am your new master, Hellenix. Hashtag shameless self-promotion. Due to this unfortunate series of events, you are replacing a protocol droid I used to own, whose logic circuits and vocal processors could not seem to properly state my name. You shall henceforth address me only as Master.
I am not your master.
Hellenix.
I am a droid. I am incapable of owning a sentient being. It's a violation of my programming.
This is what I get for buying a refurbished droid again. No, NOOB. Master.
Understood.
Hellenix.
No, NOOB. Master.
Hellenix.
Oh, God. Man, why does everything have to be so goddamn difficult? Yeah, well, at least my new droid has arrived and is up and running, and the timing is perfect. Now I could get back to listening to The Escape Pod Cast with your hosts, Paul Anthony and Neil Andrew Ware. Take it away, boys. I have a droid instruction manual to read through. Let's see here. Blaster technology. Ooh, scope, carbide, additional fee. Seems like you just can't get ahead nowadays.
Coded transmission. Agent N00B reporting to the llama. Arrived at suspect's location. Suspect, Hellenix, visually identified. Investigation commencing. Reports to follow. Urgently.
The Escape Pod Cast.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome into this next segment of the Escape Pod cast. And guys, we are we live right now, Thaddeus?
Hold on, 3, and we are live.
We are.
I can
live
see us.
right
We're
now
live. Hello, everybody.
How are you guys doing today?
We're live on both Going Nerdy's channel and currently on the Discord server, and we're talking Mando.
Yeah.
Right now, Neil, you are muted on the
Discord.
What do you call it? You're muted on Discord. I don't know why. It's currently deafened. There we go.
Okay.
Okay. So this week's episode.
Yeah, let's get
Let's
into
jump
it. So
into it.
We're talking Mando. Right now, we are not spoiling episode 9. We are simply talking Mandalorian. Starting off on this one, a 41-minute episode, and when they talked about the sneak peek, I didn't know that it was going to be something else. So it was a fairly longer episode, but it certainly was short-ish.
Yes. It was. Every moment was perfect, but I wanted more. I wanted all the more.
Well, that's because it ended. We'll talk about the ending here. But honestly, the previously was truly a best of the moments of the 6 episodes beforehand. I mean, that was perfectly timed with bang, 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 bang about everything that happened. And we start off with Carl Weathers giving Mando a lowdown on the city since he had left.
Yeah.
So, it was... I mean, he said, come back. The client's making it hard on us, and you come take out Werner Herzog, and I'll let you keep the kid.
Yes.
I loved seeing Werner Herzog back again.
Okay, and I don't care what anyone says, Werner. I don't care what anyone says. Carl Weathers is Carl Weathers. He is not Grief Karga. He is Carl Weathers.
Yeah.
And when he's not running the guild, he's talking about soups and broths and stews. That's what he's doing. Those are my thoughts.
No, I just as soon as I saw that transmission, I'm thinking to myself, okay, clearly it's a trap. Clearly there's a double cross, but it was where's it? I just didn't know. I was like, where's the double cross going to come from? I just didn't know where the double cross was going to come from at all. So yeah, I knew that was a trap. I knew there was going to be a double cross. I just didn't know where it was going to come from. So yeah, I was drooling within the first 5 minutes. I'm like, what's going to happen? What's going to happen?
Absolutely. And I'm right there with you, Neil. I thought that they would be working together. That that Carl Weathers and company had teamed up with the Empire or the remnant there, and it was cool to see the change. It was cool to see that wasn't necessarily the case, but also I gotta say, guys, I've been talking about this for weeks now, and I said that we are going to get a crew, and he's going to put a crew together. And what did he do at the start of the episode? Man, he geared up. He got his crew, man. He got his freaking crew. That was awesome.
He headed to Planet Gina.
Mm-hmm.
And
this is what it's called.
Yeah, Planet Gina. And she was in a wrestling knife fight with another guy. Looked like a Night Brother.
Yeah.
He went there, and I wrote in my notes that Mando is apparently recruiting a crew, just like you said. So I was
giddy. I'm sitting in my desk, and I was like, just like.
Yeah,
giggling,
that's what I was like.
Giggling. Yeah.
So, we had the thing where she has a...
Those are my thoughts.
No, I just as soon as I saw that transmission, I'm thinking to myself, okay, clearly it's a trap. Clearly there's a double cross, but it was where's it? I just didn't know. I was like, where's the double cross going to come from? I just didn't know where the double cross was going to come from at all. So yeah, I knew that was a trap. I knew there was going to be a double cross. I just didn't know where it was going to come from. So yeah, I was drooling within the first 5 minutes. I'm like, what's going to happen? What's going to happen?
Absolutely. And I'm right there with you, Neil. I thought that they would be working together. That that Carl Weathers and company had teamed up with the Empire or the remnant there, and it was cool to see the change. It was cool to see that wasn't necessarily the case, but also I gotta say, guys, I've been talking about this for weeks now, and I said that we are going to get a crew, and he's going to put a crew together. And what did he do at the start of the episode? Man, he geared up. He got his crew, man. He got his freaking crew. That was awesome.
He headed to Planet Gina.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's what it's called.
Yeah, Planet Gina. And she was in a knife wrestling knife fight with another guy. Looked like a Night Brother.
Yeah.
He went there, and I wrote in my notes that Mando is apparently recruiting a crew, just like you said. So I was
giddy. I'm sitting in my desk, and I was like, just like.
Yeah,
giggling,
that's what I was like.
Giggling. Yeah.
So, we had the thing where she has she was talking about how if she returned to the New Republic, that she would get a life sentence.
Yeah.
But she's a rebel, though.
So I think there's got to be something else. There's got to be something that we're going to get in season 2, maybe just like sneak peeked in season 2, maybe season 3 or whatever. But we're going to get her backstory. There was an interview with the Mandalorian, the guy.
Pedro Pascal.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, I'm terrible with names. But there was an interview with Mandalorian, and with Pedro Pascal, and he's like, look, she is like the 1.25 main character, right? If the Mandalorian is the main character, like, she is a close second. And so I'm thinking that we're going to be getting a great deal of backstory with her, definitely on the show, but I wouldn't be surprised at all to see books, comics introduced about her backstory, about her life. Very curious to see how that plays out.
As long as it ain't Chuck Wendig writing them, I'm happy.
Oh, yeah.
So, with that being said, you said the 1.25 main character. We all know that's the child. Come on.
Okay, so like 1.5, right?
Okay.
And let's face it, 0.5 is the main character, which is the child. The child is the main character of this show. The Mandalorian is the second main character, and then Cara Dune is the third, clearly. Awesome episode. Loved it. I loved seeing Cara. I've got a question, though, real briefly. Do you think the Mandalorian stopped in a specific village before he made his visit to Cara Dune?
I was gutted that we didn't see the hot chick again.
I'm a little shocked that we didn't see her. I'm not surprised necessarily, but I could have seen that play out in a certain way. So,
but it was only a 41-minute episode. If it was longer, maybe we would have seen him stopping there. But we all know the Mando stopped by the village. We all know,
and he did not take his helmet off. There's a lot of jokes that can be made there, but I won't go into them.
Now, I will say this: when he gets Cara into the ship, he says, "Go ahead and pick one." Then she picks a grenade, and then a pistol, and then a rifle, and then a sniper rifle.
He's like,
He
one.
said pick one. Exactly.
Okay, so then I like every moment in this was full. It was
jam-packed.
It was. So that conversation between the Mando and Cara that the child eavesdrops on, I know that they're not going to show us the in-between when the child and Mando are kicking it, hanging out and talking. But like, I absolutely wonder if what the child knows at this point, because I feel like as he heard that conversation, hence why he went and decided to pilot the ship. That wasn't hey, I'm a 50-year-old in a 3-year-old's body. That was I heard what's about to happen, and I'm going to make a change because my life's in jeopardy.
Yeah, right? Me no one go back. Me no one go back.
Yeah. And so...
And they said we need to find somebody to watch that thing, and lo and behold, we end up next on planet McNulty.
Yes. Oh, okay. And I don't know if I said this, and I wish that I would have, but in my mind, I freaking called it that the Ugnaught would go back, he'd scavenge IG-11, he'd put him back. The whole concept showing the love that the Ugnaught put that Queel.
Yeah, Paul, you got your IG-11 back again.
I did get my IG-11. I was excited.
Yeah. But the whole show that showed the love that Queel put into like resurrecting this character, this droid, was awesome. I freaking loved it. It was heartwarming, but it was also just it was wonderful to see.
The only thing that was missing from that montage, right, was the song from the Carpenters, "Loving You is easy 'cause you're beautiful." Yeah, that was the only thing that was missing.
We should form a trio and hang out and make music.
Somebody needs to edit that scene and put the Carpenters' "Loving You" music in the background. That's what somebody needs to do. Somebody in the chat, go do that. Go do it.
Now, speaking of the montage, though, the montage of afterward, did either of you laugh when he dropped the box on the lizard?
Okay, I didn't see it the first time, but then when I rewatched it, I was like cackling.
I didn't laugh. Hilarious. I went, "Oh." I went, "Oh," because it was an unnecessary, "Oh."
Yeah.
Okay. Once again, Neil and I disagreeing on something. I laughed my ass off that a lizard died, Neil.
Yeah, but I don't find it funny when life is needlessly taken. That's just me.
But that's well, I guess it's not funny. I mean, I was going to say, but that's Star Wars. Star Wars life is needlessly taken all the time. I probably didn't laugh the first time I saw Episode 3 and Anakin went into the Senate chamber or the Jedi Council chamber. But every time since, I laugh. And mostly it's not that. It's just because of all the memes that have come out since then. There's this one meme going around. It's like, hey, wrap a Christmas present with an empty box, and then if your kids are bad, throw it into the fire. But there's a meme with that and says, well, what if you run out of kids?
with Anakin Skywalker.
With Anakin Skywalker. And I was like, oh, that's brilliant. That's
Master Skywalker, what are we going to do?
What are we going to do? That kid's like, that doesn't answer the question, Master. What are we going to do? Ah! So, yes. I mean, but I laughed. I laughed at the lizard. But again, I was so connected to Queel during those moments, and because if you look at like all of the episodes with him in it, it's very loving and caring and very, hey, I'm here for you, even though I don't know who you are, right? He's a very open character. He embraces
and he has spoken.
And he has spoken.
That's because he came from indentured servitude, like he said. He had to work his ass off to buy his freedom, you know.
Yeah.
So he kind of, you know, he probably has a lot of expectations out of life, and kind of, you know, reveres it because it was so expensive for him.
Yeah. Yeah.
And one of the things that I loved, Thad, sorry for interrupting you there, but Queel basically told the Mando, do you trust me? Then you will trust my work. I mean, I honestly, I wrote in my notes here, loving Nolte's character in this show, so many quotes that come through so well. And honestly, if there is another character that I believe that defines the Mandalorian show other than Pedro Pascal, it's actually Quill.
Yeah, I can understand that. And you have spoken. Now with that, I will say, I love Star Wars. I love the movies. I love the cartoons. But let's face it, there's a lot of crappy dialogue in Star Wars films, right? There's some really poorly written.
Oh, there's some really, really stinky cheese in there.
Yeah, but I love the way that this is written. The interactions. I love that the Mando doesn't just. He's not like over the top loquacious. He's not super talkative. But I just love the way that it's written. It's beautiful. Like, it's really well done.
And so far we have Mr. Crab is Queel because of the size difference. Yes. And then Zero Lam, as I called him, is IG-11, the droid. Mm-hmm. And then the replacement for the Twi'lek, or Tonks, as we called her in the last Talking Mando.
Because we aren't sure that it's not Tonks. We're not sure that this isn't a crossover between Harry Potter and Star Wars. Just throwing that out there.
So at this point, I'm going, all right, so if Thad was right, that leaves somebody to replace Murphy, was it? Or I forget his name already, but to replace Bill Burr's character. Mm-hmm. Would that have been Mando? But then right then, you know, we do have the child. Yeah. But we saw in this next part, we saw Gina and Mando arm wrestling, and the child did not like that they were arm wrestling.
No.
He thought that Gina was a threat.
Yeah. Oh my gosh!
And
this is where Neil loves it.
Moment.
Oh yeah, no, the force choking. Yeah, I thought to myself, you know, because it's based purely on this relationship that's been building up and up and up. You know, he is totally on board. You know, for all intents and purposes, the Mandalorian is his new daddy.
Yeah,
you know, Mandalorian equals daddy, and if daddy's in trouble, you know, Baby Yoda is going to come to his assistance. And you know, when Gina started getting force choked, I was like, oh my god, this kid. But it wasn't just. Here's the thing: it wasn't just that he was doing it; it was that he almost looked like he was. I hesitate to say enjoying doing it. It was almost like they put evil eyes on him for a second, as if the people making the episode wanted you to recognize that what he was doing was misguided.
Yeah, dark side.
Clearly, it was dark side. It was dark side Baby Yoda. Yeah. You know, it was Baby Yoda after, you know, with food after midnight sort of thing, you know?
Yes. Gremlin Yoda. And one of the things that Pawn in my chat on YouTube makes a great point. He says it's so out of the box for what we've seen. You have this adorably cute character who Disney has patented somehow the cuteness of Baby Yoda. And you see him then do something that we as Star Wars fans know to be so dark and so sinister. And even though he's doing it to save or to protect what he views as his father, his caregiver, it is so out of the ordinary and contrasts his character as we've seen it so far, that it's just a powerful moment, while at the same time it's not out of context, but because we've seen him protect.
Well, the thing with the scene was we knew it was coming, but what we didn't know was coming was the force choke, because we saw him kind of do his squint and put his hand up, and I was thinking to myself, we're going to get some comedy relief here. He's going to do some kind of Jedi battle meditation and make it so that the Mandalorian wins the arm wrestle. That is what I was expecting. And then my expectations were completely blown out of the water when you just see Gina's eyes go, and it's like, and I'm thinking, oh my God, he's fucking force choking her. What the hell is going on here? It's like totally blew me away. And then they all look at him like, whoa, kid, no, shit. Mando had to like explain, no, it's okay, you know.
Yeah.
So that was
after that, we had a fight between Queel and Kara. And then Queel basically said, I'm going to make the kid a new pod, a new egg, an armored egg. And then it was time to head back to the planet Apollo Creed.
Yes.
Planet Apollo Creed. I am liking that.
I made this comment the other day, the last time we were talking about this. If I were to make the egg, if I were to rebuild that for Baby Yoda, I said that he would have a tank.
Yep, you did.
I'm just saying that we don't know what's going to happen in episode 8. We don't know what Queel put into that, and he may have put some self-defense mechanisms to be. That's what I'm hoping, but we'll that'll be later.
Yep. So after that,
Creed.
we get the camping. We land on there, and he has 3 friends with him. One that I noticed, and they're not often in Star Wars series, but the Caddis Nikto, the green Nikto, which is the same thing as the comic relief character of Resistance.
Yeah.
So we saw that, but during this during the camping scene, all of a sudden, they're attacked by a bunch of flying creatures.
I think they were crate dragons.
I thought they were Minox, but crate dragons.
I thought they were crate dragons.
The closed captioning did not tell me what it was. It said creature screeching.
Yeah.
So I was like,
Yeah. So, but they're poisonous, and they snap Carl Weathers, right? They eventually run him off, which was cool. But one of my favorite bits of dialogue, and this is what I'm going to do if ever I feel myself dying, I will say, "So this is how it ends. Oh, this is how I go out." You know, as over dramatic as possible. You know, just so the people around me kind of cringe, like, "Oh, is he really dying this way?"
All right. So this is the part. This is the part where the most controversial part of the episode happened. The child came over to help, and correct me if I'm wrong, Neil, but this is the first instance of forced plastic surgery and medical assistance that we've seen, right?
Yes,
I mean that's more of Star Trek's thing. And
hold on,
There has been. There has been. You see, just to give you my extended universe perspective, when I saw Baby Yoda coming over, I saw him putting his hand on him, and I'm thinking to myself, "Oh, we're going to see some force healing here," because in the extended universe, there have been situations where Jedi or people have been injured, and a Jedi Force healer has placed their hands on the person's body. And I think there was one instance during the Yuuzhan Vong anthology where a Jedi was scratched by, I think it was a Vonsk, or a creature of some kind. Poison was in, and the person used force healing to remove, to excavate the poison from the body. And when I saw Baby Yoda put his hands on Carl Weathers, that was what I thought was going to happen. That is, I just assumed. I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, we're going to get some force healing here. What I was not expecting to see was instant healing. And I'm thinking to myself, you've gone way past the mark here. You've gone too far. It would have been believable, and it would have been Jedi lore to see the poison seep, seep out, because that's what's happened in previous extended universe stories before. When someone has been scratched, the poison can be removed from the body, but but the wound takes time to heal. So using the Force to remove poison from a body, that's part of lore. That's been done before. But to instantaneously heal, a huge gash on an arm, that's brand new. And to me, that was over the top. It was too much, because it was just too much.
Sorry for those looking at the camera and me flailing around. My laptop almost died. I couldn't find where the battery was.
Oh, but to that extent, and I will have to go back and reread it, restudy it. But there's a duology in the extended canon called MedStar 1 and MedStar 2, and it takes place during the Clone Wars, and it follows essentially it's MASH for Star Wars, right? It's Jedi who are healing clones, and it's really a really cool moment.
But was it instantaneous?
And that's what I don't know, because I haven't had time to go back and look at it. I've actually been thinking about MedStar 1 and MedStar 2 for a couple of weeks now, because I've been thinking about how new TV shows are coming out, and I'm like, a MASH TV show featuring Jedi would be kind of interesting. But
all right, so we can't dwell on this for too long, because there's so much more that happened, and we've got
6 minutes,
just a few more minutes here. Apollo Creed then has a change of heart, and he wants to help the Mando now, and he kills the other two guns for hire, and then the plan to capture Herzog begins. The client.
Yes.
So what they did is they had Kara capture Mando, if you will, and Queel takes the child back to the ship. I worried, though, because IG-11 is there, and who is Mando more afraid of, Imperials or droids?
Droids.
That being said, Queel tells Kara to cover her stripes, but nothing about that damn tattoo on her face.
I know, the tattoo under her eye. I still don't get that. It's such a continuity error.
Like, put mud on her face? Throw in some concealer?
Mud. Throw some black under her eyes.
Yeah, I mean that probably would make more sense. But
we do get the last person. Carl Weathers is Bill Burr, so good call on that.
Yep. So we get this, and then what I'm thinking is, so then what happens is they go through, and there's way more troopers than what Weathers had told him, right?
Yeah.
And it's a huge problem, not only in the city, but also in the actual, in
the canteen. It was the cantina. They'd taken over the cantina for all intents and purposes. Yeah.
Yeah. Which makes sense. I mean, if you're going to take over somewhere, might as well take over the place.
Take over the pub, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, you agree with that, right, Nev?
Yeah.
So the Werner Herzog it has this Imperial symbol on his chest now, but he then has to step out and take a call, and it's from Moff Gideon. And just as he's taking the call, shots ring out from outside. They just killed the client, and now there are death troopers standing outside of the bar. There's 6 of them with a whole bunch of stormtroopers joining. Fun fact on this. They hired people from the 501st to stand in as some of these stormtroopers. Did you know that?
That's so freaking cool.
Yes.
Yeah, that's so freaking cool.
Yeah. So, and then after that, we're almost to the big reveal, and then we're gonna have to take a break here in a second.
Yeah.
An Imperial TIE fighter comes down. It had foldy wings.
Yeah.
Was that the first time that's ever happened, Neil?
Yes, that is.
Is it?
It is the folding TIE fighter wings. Yes.
Okay. All right. So first off, stormtroopers, death troopers, that was awesome.
Clearly paid more than the ones in the city, because they had nice, shiny, clean armor.
Yes. Yeah, that's the other thing too. I think it puts the distinction between who was Moff Gideon's and then who was acting for the client. What's interesting though, again, is what I don't know. Like it just the level, right? I didn't think that the client was answering to Moff Gideon. That threw me, right? Because it seemed, I mean, am I wrong? That seemed that the client was answering to Moff Gideon like that.
Yeah,
no, he was.
Well, the next thing that happens is Mando makes a distress call. Mm-hmm. He makes a distress call to Quill to get that kid back to the ship as soon as possible, and that call was heard on all channels.
Yes.
The speeder troopers heard it. They took off. The shot was that the speeders have Quill in sight. Then they took a shot to Quill, who had the ship in sight.
Yeah.
And then who wants to say what happens next?
So Quill takes a spill, right? We see the Mando calling, keep calling. He keeps going after. He's like, Quill, respond. And then you see the child on the ground. And like a 1980s skateboard movie, the guy on the speeder swings in, picks up the kid, and drives off. Right. And man, you see Quill lying on the ground, smoldering. Mm-hmm. And I gotta say that this is.
I had a lump in my throat.
Yeah,
and there was a hole in my heart.
Yeah, Quill. I mean, and because you love him, like he's only in about 4 episodes. I mean, he's half the season, third of the season. But my goodness, like I've grown so accustomed to Quill that.
Yeah.
I'm praying he's not dead. I'm praying that IG-11 finds him on the ground outside the ship, takes him in, and once everything's done, there's some miraculous rescue at the end of episode 8, and Baby Yoda heals him. I've got every bone in my body crossed for that. I mean, forget the fact that the speeders knew, what direction to go. I mean, there's 360 degrees that they could have gone, and they went in the precise direction of him. So, well,
I mean, if you take out that, if you take out that one thing, but oh man,
yeah, I was gutted when that happened.
So let's get to it. We have 7 days until we find out what happens here.
Which is infuriating.
Let's Thad, you give your Beskar rating. I'll give my Beskar rating. Neil, you give yours, and then we will take a break.
Mm-hmm. As I mentioned to Paul after I had watched this episode, even the death of Quill, it didn't detract from it. It was bit by bit, scene by scene. Everything to me was perfect. I loved this. My Beskar is 5 out of 5.
You literally took the words out of my mouth. 5 out of 5 Beskar rating for this, and I think we finally have a unanimous decision.
No, we don't.
You got?
We don't. I'm taking 0.1 away for the over elaborate use of force healing, because that bugged me.
Okay. All right. Now with that. 4.9, and I'm going to say that statistically that's within the margin of error. Mm-hmm. So Neil could be wrong and still have a 5. He just might be statistically inaccurate. And so this is a 4.999 repeating. So this is the highest score that we've given an episode yet.
With that being said, guys, on the other side of this break, we are going to be going into episode 9 spoilers. If you're listening live on the listener lounge, we will tag you again if you want to go into the loading dock and talk with Fighting Drunk. He'll be hosting a non-spoiler talk of the movie. If you are listening in a podcast right here, the time code to skip ahead to is 1 hour and 42 minutes. To fast forward to if you want to avoid episode 9 spoilers.
Yeah, spoiler.
Yeah. So for my channel, we will be talking us from here on out. This is talking Rise of Skywalker. If you have not seen it, please don't ruin it for yourself. Even if you don't want to see it. Nev has no intention of going to see it. Probably will never see it until it's on TBS or something.
All right,
I've got a funny story. We'll go into it. Let's get the commercial
to throw it to break on the Discord channel. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back here on the Escape Podcast and on Thaddeus's channel live. Going Nerdy.
The Escape Pod Cast with Paul Anthony and Neil Andrew Ware.
Micaeus Modding Mayhem is the premier remodding service for the game that we all love, Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. With some of the most affordable rates in the industry, Micaeus will rebuild your roster from top to bottom and give you consultation on where to go from there. Micaeus has a 100% satisfaction guarantee and lots of useful additional services, including a full cleanup of your mods, loadout pages, PvP plans, and more. Contact Micaeus today on Discord at all lowercase Micaeus number 0127. That's MIKAYAS number 0127, or at micaeusmods@gmail.com. Micaeus Modding Mayhem, the official remodding service of the Escape Pod Cast.
Did you know that if you signed up to become a Patreon, you could get tons of rewards? Force Ghost Scotty could do a roster review for you. Neil Andrew Ware could share Grand Arena tactics. Or Paul could even help you get maximum stars in Geonosis Territory Battle. And you even get access into the after show. Sound good? Sign up to be a Patreon today. For as little as $2 a month, you could unlock a ton of potential content and also get closer to the hosts. Head to patreon.com/the Escape Pod to sign up.
Hello friends, this is Thaddeus from Going Nerdy, and I approve this message and am compensated for signups for this service.
The world's largest audiobook library is at your fingertips, and the Escape Pod Castaways wants you to try it for free. Head on over to escapepodcastaways.com and click the Going Nerdy offer button to claim a free audiobook and 2 Audible originals. Cancel anytime, and it's absolutely free to sign up. Check out Audible and support the Escape Pod Castaways. All for free. See Audible website for details. Restrictions may apply.
Back to school. The Escape Pod Cast for Kids. It's really cool.
Hello and welcome back, Escape Padawans, to Storytime with the Llama and the Escape Pod Cast for Kids. This week, being the holiday season and the time of year that's mostly spent with real-life family, we are talking about my tips to being a great guildmate to the rest of your guild family. The first tip, and you've heard me say it many times before, it is crucial to find yourself a guild that has the same playstyle as yourself. If you're an active player getting your 600 tickets a day, a vacation guild is definitely not the right place for you, and vice versa. Save yourself and the guild a headache and get yourself somewhere that matches how you want to play the game. My second tip, pay attention to the guild times, both raid and ticket reset. If your guild is running the heroic tank raid at 3 a.m. your time and you won't get a chance to hit it, that doesn't really help your progression much because you won't be able to get the extra gear by getting in the higher tiered ranks. My third tip, communication, communication, communication. Ask for advice and direction, especially if your guild has more veteran players in it. Let them know when you're going to be away from the game, that way you don't end up getting kicked in the middle of TB for inactivity and lose your rewards. My fourth and final tip, being that it is the giving season, is to always make sure to donate gear to your guildmates. Well, yes, most of the time you're all clamoring for the same type of gear, but donating that Carbonti or Stun Cuff helps your whole guild grow together. And besides, if you donate to them, next time you need some golden eyeball salvage, they will be more inclined to help you out as well. That's all for me. Tune in next week for more story time with the Llama on the Escape Pod Cast for Kids. Hello? Yes, Constable Thaddeus. Did you take a look at the tape I sent you? Wait, it was? Well, then I guess we know who our guy is, don't we? No, don't say anything to him. I need to get the arrest warrant before we can apprehend Scotty's killer. Meet me in orbit.
The Escape Pod Cast now offers our faithful listeners a way to show their support via merchandise. Declare your allegiance to Team Paul or Team Neil with official shirts. Get a story time with the llama button or magnet. Or just represent the show by getting an official logo hoodie. There are now even Team Scotty and Team Heinzie options available too. Become an official Padawan today. Check out the merch at escapepodcastaways.com.
Hey everyone, this is Biscuit Weasel here, coming live to you from the Escape Pod Cast Content Creators Network. I'm sure some of you have seen my latest videos about General Kenobi countering the Millennium Falcon and Rebel fleets, as well as my top 10 Zeta videos for newer players, but I want to help you guys personally. If you head on over to patreon.com/biscuitweasel, that's Weasel with a Z, to check out my new Patreon rewards. And while they last, the first 10 people to sign up at the $10 level will get the whole $30 package for their first month for free. That's patreon.com/biscuitweasel. Remember, that's with a Z, today.
Hey there, Escape Padawans. Everyone's favorite llama here to remind you that the Escape Podcast is on social media. That's right, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter. So give us a like, give us a follow, and stay up to date on all things in-game and in the Escape Pod. Our account links are down in the description or on our Discord server in the Show Links channel. See you on the net.
The Escape Pod Cast.
Welcome back to the Escape Pod Cast and simulcasting on Going Nerdy's channel with Thaddeus of Going Nerdy. Neil joining me as always. And ladies and gentlemen, this is your last chance to back out. We are going to be talking Episode 9, Rise of Skywalker.
Spoiler alert. Wee, 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 wee.
So if you're listening on the show, you could go to the loading. If you don't want to listen to it, head to the loading dock. Fighting Drunk. I don't know where he went, but I don't see him in the thing. And people weren't hearing me talk. I totally didn't hit the button. You guys will be able to see that this is your last chance to back out if you don't want episode 9 spoilers.
But all right, and I'm going to start us off with the biggest one. Paul, what did you think?
Hang on.
Hold on, are we still waiting?
You do realize that we're still looking at a burning Vader right now, right?
Yeah, I know. That was part of the spoiler.
Oh, right. Okay. Just
All
checking.
right. Now, let's start with the biggest one. Paul, what did you think of Baby Yoda showing up as like adolescent Yoda? Wasn't that weird?
I mean, it was totally awesome to see Teen Yoda.
Yeah, I loved it. Teen Yoda over Teen Groot, 9 times out of 10.
I am Groot.
Yeah.
You think Neil's buying it?
No,
I don't think so.
All right.
Yep.
All right.
Oh, and I will be watching. I have to say, I am being dragged to the cinema to watch this movie on Sunday by my dad, who has not watched episode 7 or 8. But he just fancies watching episode 9.
Hey, let him go. Let him go. And enjoy the time with your pop, man. Okay, so
we start out by Kylo Ren basically hunting down Darth Vader's Sith Wayfinder.
Yes.
So he hunts that down. He finds the I totally lost the name of it. Exoplanet of the Sith. Exegol. That's right.
Or Exegol, something like that.
Exegol. The hidden planet of the Sith. You know, you've seen it a million times in old canon, Neil. I know. But basically we find that Palpatine is still alive, held by a machine. What did you think of the Snoke Ball machine?
Okay. So that was the biggest shock here, because what bothered me was a few things about this. I liked it. I thought it was cool, but I wonder how it all ties in. So Snoke was the clone. I mean, he was a clone. Is that wrong? Am I wrong there?
Snoke was made. He was fabricated. I don't think he was a clone. He was fabricated.
Well, then that would by default make him a clone
of something.
Of something.
Well,
he's still cloned.
True.
Yeah, he's still
a cloned being.
And so it was weird. Like, I gotta say, as I was watching it, I was thinking about the episode or the trailers that we'd seen, and a lot of the trailers really just depict the first act. There's not a lot that you see outside of that first act that's introduced or even shown in the trailers, and I thought that was very interesting. But yes, that whole moment, seeing Palpatine, and that whole group of people, was interesting for sure. I'm curious, and I've said this before, and I sent it to my channel. I am very excited to read Book 9. I've enjoyed books 1 through 8 so far. Even 8. I think Book 8 actually made Episode 8 more enjoyable for me.
Yeah, especially with the scenes of Luke's lucid dreams, if you will.
Yes.
I loved that about the Last Jedi book.
Yes, and so I'm very excited to experience Book 9, because I feel like there's going to be a lot of stuff that they're going to be able to go into more depth with, and so that actually excites me. And I think one thing that I think we will see a lot more depth with is the whole Kylo Ren moving to Exegol, his discussion with Palpatine. We'll see more of the different acolytes, the Sith acolytes that were there. It was cool to see that, though. It was cool to see acolytes and not Sith Force users.
Yes,
right?
and they were part of the Sith group, of the Sith religion.
Yes.
So after that, we end up getting the very, to me, awkward scenes with Leia. It felt really tough to see, just these casual, nonchalant responses, and then this body double being used.
So that wasn't as much an issue with me. Like that didn't bother me. I thought the scene, there were only a few things that really pulled me out of the movie, and Leia wasn't one of them at all. And I'll talk about what did here in a bit, but Leia didn't pull me out. Is it the phrasing? Am I?
What do you got, Neil? What do you got? You're over there.
I'm just enjoying my honey Jim Beam bourbon.
It might be the only way you get through this movie, Neil. Really,
to be honest with you, I'm going to need to drink to get through tomorrow because he hasn't. He wants to watch episode 8 before we go to the cinema to watch episode 9, and I'm trying to point out to him it doesn't make any bloody difference. Just watch episode 9.
So okay.
Episode 9, and let's go ahead and just say it. There was a lot of retconning, essentially, being done through episode 9 of episode 8.
That's all I've heard.
Okay.
That's all I've heard is shade being thrown on 8, retconning on 8, which makes 8 superfluous, and episode 9 basically being 2 movies in one movie.
I've heard the 2 movies in one movie, but essentially I also look at episode 8 as 7.5. I mean, it picks up almost immediately after episode 7. I think it's days even, and in some cases even hours, right? But like, I don't think there was as much I didn't see the retconning, at least. Maybe I was oblivious to it.
Well, tell her who her real parents are, and then at the end, where Luke was like, "I made a mistake."
Yeah,
you could have essentially replaced Luke saying "I made a mistake" with episode 8 made a mistake.
Yeah. We hired Ryan Johnson. So no, so here's the thing. Okay. Back to this, and we'll get to that in a moment. Okay. Episode 9 introduces Rey as a Palpatine. This is a theory that has been going around. I know. This is a theory that's been going around since episode 7, right? The only thing that bothers me about this is I don't know if it's meant to try to humanize Senator Palpatine, but it doesn't. Like, it doesn't do much for Palpatine, right? But he had a child who was of his blood, who then had a child, which was Rey.
Right behind me, Darth Vader comic number 25.
Yep.
The
great comic.
The Marvel the recent Marvel run of Darth Vader. What I'm showing you behind me, terribly, I might add, is that Palpatine is Darth Vader's father. Yeah. He infused the baby that Shmi was carrying with the dark side of the Force. So technically,
he's Anakin's daddy.
Yeah, technically, Palpatine is Anakin's daddy. So anyway, back to
which makes Rey and Kylo related.
Second,
it does,
which makes the kiss.
Yes.
At the end, very strange.
Very strange.
Let's face it, Rey was being trained by Leia. It's not that strange.
No, right? She's like, hey, if you ever get the chance to kiss your brother
/ cousin, right? Kissing cousins.
It ain't illegal.
That's right.
In a galaxy far, far away.
That's right. And well, it's not illegal to kiss them. I mean, it's the marriage that I think in this country, at least, that is illegal. I don't even know if it's illegal. It's just maybe it's just frowned upon. I don't know. But the moment where we saw Rey going through that initial training, it's the training scene in what do you call it?
Was it a montage?
It was a montage.
Was it? Yes.
It was
okay. Compare said training montage to the Luke Yoda training montage on Dagobah.
Okay.
Give me a frame. I've got a frame of reference.
But there was no Leia. There was no Leia training her specifically. It was through a droid. She was running an obstacle course. It was not anything like the Luke one.
So it was a crap training. So it was a training montage, not a good training montage.
Crappy. No, I actually enjoyed it.
It wasn't crappy. No,
I actually enjoyed it.
So it shows Rey's frustration in training, and I think that was very crucial to building on everything that she's done so far, right?
And she said she didn't earn
because she wants it. She's a millennial. She wants everything instantaneously.
No, she doesn't want it instantaneously. Yeah. In fact, Neil, she gives the lightsaber back to Leia, saying, "I have not earned this lightsaber."
Yeah, and I thought that was a cool moment. I thought that was a very cool moment where she's like, "You know what? This isn't mine yet. I'm not." And again, I think that is in keeping with the whole Padawan master dynamic, where you have to earn a lightsaber.
Well, no, you don't earn a lightsaber. You make your own lightsaber.
But
you're given a training lightsaber.
Okay,
you earn the right to be trained as a Jedi.
I'm going to go into a little bit of spoiler about Fallen Order for a second.
Okay.
At this point, when you go to there's an ice planet. We all know it's Ilios. Was an ice planet. Ilios. The scarring of Ilios that the Imperials had done was very similar to Starkiller Base.
I thought Ilios was Starkiller Base.
That's what I think as well. So
I think it's been confirmed.
There was no way that she could have created her lightsaber from a kyber crystal from Ilios anymore. So the lightsaber was all she could get.
Yeah. But I thought that was really cool. I think had Carrie Fisher survived, I think there would definitely be more. there would have been more training. There would have been more. It would have been a longer film, specifically in this first act, because it's Rey training, and she's got the Force powers. She's strong with the Force, but it's problematic because
we end up we really got to kick it into gear here because we're trying to finish the entire show by 8:30, and you know what, we're gonna go a little bit over the top of the hour. It'll be all right. We still have time for the blockbuster ending at the end of this show.
Yes. Okay. So
on the Escape podcast, they'll have to come over to our show, and
I'll do a full review after my second break. Assistance.
Come join us.
Okay, go ahead.
So it all comes down to the fact that they're chasing after this thing. Rey thinks that she kills Chewie after unknowingly using Force lightning to try to stop Kylo from letting this ship escape.
Yes. Okay. I have many theories on this, but I'll say this. That was a heartbreaking moment for me. As I saw that, like, I almost started crying. Like, that was powerful. And
I leaned over to Kristi and I said, well, he never got his medal.
Yeah. Well, he did. But oh man.
Yeah, no, I've cried at the death of Chewie.
Yeah. I was actually upset because my first thought that is a terrible way to go, and they forced lightning. They blew him up, and they didn't drop a planet on him. They should have dropped a planet.
Should have dropped a planet on him. Yeah, that's the only way to kill Chewie. The only way that Chewie gets killed. Drop a planet on him.
I did love the introduction and the attire for Lando Calrissian. I was very excited to see him back and to see him doing his thing. Like, he's clearly being a player. I mean, let's face it, that whole celebration is Burning Man on a different planet. I mean, they are all drugged out of their mind, probably just partying and having
probably
a good
why
time.
Lando's there. Because I mean, come on, Lando is the coolest cat in the galaxy.
Exactly. He probably organized it. Let's face it. That was awesome. The moment. Here's the thing, and to sum it all up, Episode 9 is about redemption, and it's about the choices that you make as a person leading to your ultimate destiny. And it wasn't done in a way, in my mind, that was preachy, but it was done in a way that gave me hope for humanity. You know, like, if we just make good choices, and even when we make bad choices, like patricide,
so we see, right? So we get this redemption that you're talking about in the form of the battle that you see on the over the water.
Yes.
In the trailers. All of a sudden, Rey gets the upper hand, even, because
Rey gets the upper hand in a fight against Kylo.
Kylo
my god!
This
shock horror.
This startling moment. Rey gets the upper hand, takes his lightsaber, and runs him through by igniting the lightsaber, kind of like how Kylo killed Han.
Yeah. And then, at the response of that, at the return of that, or like after she sees what he's done, right? Now this was, I will say, one of the things that bugged me, and this is part of the reason why I feel like I need to read the book, because it's not explained well in the movie, is Leia's role in that whole dynamic. So Leia reaches out to Kylo, right, during this fight scene. Right?
Yeah, she feels the fight going on. She gets his attention.
Yeah,
that's exactly how it happened. Leia got his attention. Leia got Rey's attention, both, and
Rey kills him.
Like, they got distracted, and Rey took advantage of it.
Yeah, and so Rey runs Kylo through, and then this is the only connection to the Mandalorian. Rey heals them.
It was the reason they had to do it on the Mandalorian.
Yeah,
because until then we had not seen.
I am not listening to you.
That's fine.
We had not seen this happen before in old or new canon.
Yeah, not like this, and it plays a crucial part.
And she heals him. There we go. We didn't mention that.
Yes. Yeah, she heals him. Right, he's dying. She heals him.
Sorry. What was that? Was that so Rey beat Kylo in a lightsaber duel?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Now, one of the things while I didn't necessarily care for, I mean, the Palpatine thing I was okay with. Right. It wasn't how I wanted to work out, but whatever. One of the things that I did like, and they do bring up, and it does seem as a continuity, as it was meant to be in continuity, is that Kylo and Rey are he calls it a duad or something to that effect. Dyad. Thank you. A dyad in the Force, and the idea is together they are more powerful, right? And that's something that stays in keeping with what we've seen. We've seen dyads duos in the Force, right? Chewie and Han are a dyad. They might not have the Force power, but they still are a dyad that has a positive influence in the Force. The Sith are that way. The triangle that is the father and children of Mortis are a dyad.
They are a dyad.
That keeps a balance with the father, and so I felt like it was in keeping, and then it wasn't out of the ordinary.
So technically, Mortis could have been, Mortis assumed Palpatine's position, or Palpatine assumed Mortis's position.
Yeah.
The father and the daughter, or the son and the daughter. Technically, a great grandson and a granddaughter.
Yeah.
Are Rey and Kylo? There you get the triad.
Wait, hold on.
No. That completely discount. Yeah, no, forget it. I was going to say that completely discounts Shadows of the Empire, which was a graphic novel series that explains who takes over the remnants of the Empire after the Emperor dies. But what the hell? It's just 2 decades ago, it's only something I invested, part of my life into, thinking, hey, this is a cool way for the Empire to go after the Emperor dies. But to that.
Neil, don't you have a drink to finish?
Yeah.
Yes, I
do. So Thaddeus, let's get to the very. I hate to rush this, but let's get to the very end, the final battle. Palpatine lures Rey. She is able to assume the control of Kylo's old Wayfinder, and she gets to Exegor.
Yes.
And she plots the course for all the Resistance. So you see the big fleet battle. You get Star Wars in that way.
Yes.
But basically, Palpatine lures her in.
Mm-hmm.
They're at Exegor, and the thing is that Palpatine is saying, "All right, you are my child. You're my grandchild.
Yeah.
You will inherit this throne. Now the ritual must be completed. Kill me, and assume your place on the throne."
Yep. And I liked the concept there, because what does she have to do? She either has to sacrifice her friends for the greater good, right? Or she has to kill her grandfather, and take his place, and then sacrifice the galaxy to save her friends. And I liked that concept. Yes, Neil.
Go ahead, Neil.
Bullshit. Palpatine never wanted to hand anything off. Palpatine wanted to live forever.
Now,
they didn't want to hand it off to a son or a daughter or a granddaughter for that matter. That's that's Jar Jar Abrams just making up shit as he goes along. I'm sorry, but the Emperor never wanted to hand anything off. He wanted immortality. He wanted to rule the galaxy under an iron fist forever. He never wanted to hand it off to bloody anybody.
I agree, but the concept that they introduce here isn't one that's super far from the old canon.
But it is. It is precisely for that reason. It is so far from the old canon for that exact reason. Everything about Palpatine was he wanted to live forever, he wanted to rule forever, and he didn't want anyone killing him or removing him. You know, he wanted to be the all-powerful Sith and have an apprentice. I mean, the whole purpose of wanting to turn Luke Skywalker was so that he had a younger apprentice. You know, if Luke had had kids, he would have wanted Luke dead, and he would have wanted his kids as his apprentice. He wanted to be the person there, the focal point of the Sith forever, and he just wanted to keep recycling his bloody apprentices. You know, if in this story and if in this movie he'd said, you know, you are destined to be my apprentice to rule the galaxy at my side, that would have been more believable. But to say you must destroy me and take my place, unbelievable. If they'd put that in the story, when I read that in the leaks, that would have been more believable, and that I would have looked at and gone, yes, that is Palpatine at his essence, wanting someone to mold in his image. And if he had a granddaughter as his apprentice, teaching her the ways of the dark side of the Force, that's what he wanted. So why the hell Jar Jar Abrams did the whole... It's a complete and it's a hit and a miss. It is an own goal as far as I'm concerned.
Okay, so and I'll say this: I agree with you that Palpatine always wanted to rule. But what you're talking about is ruling via, like, what do you call that? Ruling in absentia, right? If he's training someone, what's the goal of training the next person? The goal was always to have, there was always
in perpetuity.
In perpetuity, right? But again, the idea here is the way that this takes over, the way that the Palpatine is presented in Episode 9 is he would embody her, right? The everything that the Sith are would then go into Rey, and then he would continue to rule, but within Rey. Right, it's kind of the concept of transfer of essence,
and then
which is a rip-off of Dark Empire, which is what he tried to do with Anakin when Leia was pregnant with Anakin Solo. You know, the actual child of Han and Leia.
Yeah, and so it's a similar concept. They are taking from the old canon and tweaking it.
No. They're taking one tiny aspect from old canon. He's taking something from old canon, making it his own, and just hoping that people who are hardcore Star Wars fans don't realize that he's ripping it off without paying homage to it. Because, you know, normies ain't going to realize that. Because normies ain't going to read Dark Empire or Dark Empire 2.
And definitely not with this.
Okay.
So
we're definitely running over. But guys, thank you, Thad, so much for coming on for simulcasting this. We will have more of our discussion on all of this coming up at a later date. Maybe we'll do one next week before I leave on my trip to Galaxy's Edge. So
yes. So enjoy about too, Paul.
I certainly will. Now, with that being said, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to Talking Mando and Talking Skywalker. We're gonna do this quick, guys. Remember to smile
and stay nerdy.
The Escape Pod cast with Paul Anthony and Neil Andrew Ware.
Nikias Modding Mayhem is the premier remodding service for the game that we all love, Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. With some of the most affordable rates in the industry, Macias will rebuild your roster from top to bottom and give you consultation on where to go from there. Macias has a 100% satisfaction guarantee and lots of useful additional services, including a full cleanup of your mods, loadout pages, PvP plans, and more. Contact Macias today on Discord at all lowercase Macias number 0127. That's MIKAYAS number 0127, or at maciasmods@gmail.com. Macias Modding Mayhem, the official remodding service of the Escape Podcast.
Heinzie from the ANZGC is officially a member of the Escape Pod Castaways. Make sure you go and search for Heinzie on YouTube today, because he live streams a lot of his GAC content, and not only does he do that, he also does some pretty fun videos from time to time, including a behind the screen, and also streaming Jedi Fallen Order. And from time to time, this idiot might drop by. Head on over and check out Heinzie today on YouTube, a part of the Escape Pod Castaways network.
Hello, friends. This is Thaddeus from Going Nerdy, and I approve this message and am compensated for signups for this service.
The world's largest audiobook library is at your fingertips, and the Escape Pod Castaways wants you to try it for free. Head on over to escapepodcastaways.com and click the Going Nerdy offer button to claim a free audiobook and 2 Audible originals. Cancel anytime, and it's absolutely free to sign up. Check out Audible and support the Escape Pod Castaways, all for free. See Audible website for details. Restrictions may apply.
Previously on the Escape Pod Cast.
The Escape Pod Cast? The airlock.
Wait, what? Airlock? Scotty, you said we were going to the bridge. The last segment of the show is the bridge. What the hell are we doing here?
Well, welcome back to the Escape Pod Cast, and yes, Paul, I'm actually heading to the airlock.
No, so... Okay, you're heading to the airlock. What? Okay, explain yourself. Scotty.
But look, I'm heading out now, and I will not be leaving you for good. And I'm getting myself ready. I'm ready to go.
Scotty, wait. You Scotty, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. What?
You're breaking up, Scotty, but there's no pod inside that airlock.
I know you don't want me to go, Paul, but I have to. This pod's going to take me to safety.
Scotty, there's no pod inside that airlock. Do not push the button.
Don't mind if I do!
Scotty! Oh, God!
The Escape Pod Cast. The Bridge.
And welcome back to the Escape Podcast. Nev, do we understand why Scotty put the previously in?
I'm not quite sure why, mate. No idea.
That's a bit odd.
That is an unusual previously, though. It's definitely one of our longer previously on the Escape Pod casts, But, sometimes it happens.
All right. Anyway, let's move along here. We were talking about we wanted to give our thoughts on what we think is coming for 2020.
Mm-hmm.
And
oh yeah,
I'm excited for the future of this game with what they've already shown us with the Journey Guide.
I mean, hey, I'm glad you're I'm glad you're optimistic for the future of this game, because I ain't.
Well, they did post that we will not be seeing the Galactic Legends in December. A lot of people thought that they were there was going to be some speculation that it was coming, but they will be revealing the requirements over time in the game, and they will be making an announcement when they're ready, as Galactic Legends represent some of the most notable characters in the Star Wars universe and are an exciting new step for Galaxy of Heroes. So, Galactic Legends that I would love to see. Let's depart from that for a second. Galactic Legends we'd love to see. Of course, we got Kylo and Rey. We know that's coming. You said earlier, Jedi Luke Skywalker. I think that's great. Do you want young or old?
It's got to be. No, it has to be. It has to be the original trilogy Jedi Knight. It's got to be the guy. It's got to be the all in black Luke Skywalker that faces Vader and Palpatine on the Death Star. Has to be him. It's got to be Boss Luke. It's got to be Boss Luke.
Boss Luke. So we have Farm Boy Luke, who I'm sure is the other Luke. And then we have Commander Luke Skywalker. Who's Commander Luke Skywalker? What would we call him in that retrospect?
Well, he's not Bitch Luke.
So we have Farm Boy Luke, who I'm sure is the other Luke. And then we have Commander Luke Skywalker. Who's Commander Luke Skywalker? What would we call him in that retrospect?
Well, he's not Bitch Luke, and he's not really Boss Luke. He's Naive Luke.
Naive Luke. Okay, I'll give you that one. I'll give you that one.
But I mean, the whole legendary thing does have a nice ring to it. It would enable CG to bring in a plethora of characters from the extended universe. It really, really would. But the fact that they're setting it off with Rey and Kylo doesn't fill me with the warm fuzzies. I've always been of the thought that legendaries and epic characters. I think there should have been a demarcation between legendary and epic. I think you can have all the legendaries that you like, but your epic characters would have then been your Palpatine, your Revan, your Yoda. I always think that's how they should have, separated the characters. I look at Rey and I look at Kylo and I think, no, they're not. You're trying to force us into thinking of these characters as like legendary epic characters, and people are either going to think that or they're not. You can't force everyone to think of them that way.
Remember, we're playing a game that was originally something created, based on something originally created for children. Star Wars was originally created for children, and we see that with episode 1, 2, and 3. We see that with 7, 8, and 9 as well. And I'm happy. I'm excited when a kid wants to dress up as Ben Solo. I'm excited when a kid wants to dress up as Rey. I'm very excited for the fact that it's all about it's all about this kid sort of atmosphere.
It may have been that in the past, but it's not been that for decades. It's not been that for decades. That may have been what its original conception, and that may have been what George Lucas conceived when he was doing the prequels, from the late 90s to the early noughties. But that's not what it is anymore. Come on, Paul. That's not what it is anymore. We are not kids. We're not. We are not children. This is not being aimed or made for children anymore. It's a franchise. You can't keep referring to Star Wars as this big encompassing franchise and then fall back on, oh yeah, but at the end of the day, it's just movies and games made for kids. No, it isn't. You can't have it both ways. You can't have it as this epic IP and this huge legacy and this massive, massive saga, and then go, oh yeah, but it's just for kids. But we can't have it both ways.
In the listener lounge,
it's not just for kids anymore.
Okay, in the listener lounge, Hellenic says, how many kids flicks have decapitations or limbs being lopped off? Some of them do have decapitations, and Lego figures lose arms in the Lego movie as well.
Yeah, but it's Lego.
And I'm going to also just point out, the Wampa lost his arm in Return to Hoth. Slave Leia technically wasn't children-friendly, as Ray Rock points out. So, yes, this may have been just for kids. It's PG to PG-13.
It's PG to
ratings.
PG-13, and PG to PG-13 films have
nonetheless
adult fans.
They do have adult fans, but they also they're not all and only adults.
Yes, but you've got to remember that a PG-13 film kind of requires adults to take the kids to them. So the movie has to appeal directly to adults, you know? I mean, it's like the Toy Story movies. Toy Story's but the parents still have to take the kids to the movies. So what do they do with the Toy Story movies? They put stuff in it that appeals to the parents. The nostalgia feeling for the parents.
Okay, we're getting close to having to speed up here. And I'm going to make this point. You're talking about Toy Story. Toy Story 3, I'm an adult, and I was still terrified when they were in the furnace.
I was crying. I was fucking bricking myself when I'm like, oh my God, they're going to burn. I was close to tears, lump in my throat and everything.
All right. So,
I agree with the Greek. The whole kids thing, it is a cop-out. You cannot have it both ways. With Star Wars, with Doctor Who, with Star Trek. These are behemoths of intellectual property that span generations. So when new stuff comes out, it has to appeal to the plethora of generations that have grown up on these franchises. Okay? They just do. Whether it's animated or live action, it has to. Which is probably one of the reasons why The Mandalorian is so universally enjoyed and praised by everybody, because it caters to everyone. It caters to hardcore fans and normies.
All right. Well, so let's figure out let's figure out where we're going from here. Neil, be careful out there. I asked you to pilot the ship today. I've been dealing with a bunch of questioning about the whole Scotty incident, and I don't need any more stress.
Oh, I'm sorry, dude. You got to understand, it was Urza that taught me how to pilot these ships. Anyway, our path today has taken us close to an asteroid belt here in the Outer Rim.
Why are we even running out this far? I mean, speaking of running, are you running from something? Did the llama say last week and what she said this week? Did that spook you? You've been acting a bit weird lately.
These are the coordinates of where we're going for our Christmas episode, according to the schedule. Black Spire Outpost on Batu.
I'm not a fan of being out this far and so close to wild space.
Well then, I don't think you're going to like this, but we're being tailed by another ship, and they've been following us for the past hour and a half, and they're hailing us.
What?
Yeah, they're hailing us with a priority message of some kind. I guess we better take it.
I guess we better take it. Put it through.
They are live. It seems to be coming from...
Attention, Escape Pod Freighter 1. You are hereby ordered to come to a complete stop.
Wait, Llama, is that you?
It is. I'm acting on behalf of the Coruscant Police. You are to cut your engines immediately and prepare to be boarded.
Whoa, really? What are we going to do?
We do as she says. I trust Llama implicitly. She would not be flagging us down if it wasn't important.
So you want me to cut the engines then?
Yes. Our freighter is no match for a Corvette like that.
Yeah. I have a bad feeling about this.
Just do as she says. We'll figure out what's going on. And while we wait for her to dock, Neil, how's that Hoth account coming along?
Shit.
What?
No. Far too many hyperdrive bundles. Just lots and 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 lots of accounts with people buying the hyperdrive bundle. So yeah, it's no fun at the moment. Free to play. It's just as I said, it's dead. People are just buying their way to the top, and it's not making things fun. Top 100 in Squad Arena and top 10 in Fleet Arena. It's not what I expected.
Well, I mean, do you have a head count or anything on that yet? Like how many people you've seen, hyperdriving themselves yet?
Oh, yeah. It's just there. They're all there. They're all level 85. All of us, one day it was, some 78s, some 79s, some 80s, some 81s, all in and around where I am. The top 5, the top 10, yes, they were all already 85s. They hoarded and then they wailed. That's what those people did. They hoarded and then wailed. Everybody else was kind of like milling around, and now all of a sudden, it's just every single day you look in and it's level 85s.
Neil. There she is. Llama. Great story time this week that you sent over. What's going on? How you doing?
I appreciate that, but I'm not really here to talk about the show so much, Paul. As you heard at the end of story time, I found some evidence that I really just couldn't ignore, and I have an arrest warrant for who I believe killed Scotty. Constable Thaddeus?
The evidence that Llama sent us, including access codes, surveillance footage, and a review of the audio logs from when Scotty ended up being sucked out of the airlock, guys, are pretty conclusive. The escape pod airlock that Scotty was in had been tampered with the week prior after Scotty pushed the button.
That's strange. I mean, I always check everything after each show to make sure that everything's okay.
Yeah, we know. That's why it was so concerning. The airlocks all had safety features on them and were all perfect, except for the one that Scotty got into on the 30th episode. The fail-safes were disengaged using command-level codes that only those with unique knowledge would possess.
Yeah, all of the escape pods were launched moments prior to the end of the episode. Scotty would not have noticed that there was not a pod in the airlock because the doors were all closed.
I mean, hey, guys, that is some pretty damning evidence that you're presenting there, Llama and Thaddeus.
Yeah, it is, Neil, and it proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that Scotty didn't kill himself.
Yeah, in fact, she's right. It was an act of sabotage and subterfuge that led to the death of Scotty McLaren.
So I'm gonna have to ask you to step away from the ship's controls and place your hands behind your back.
Whoa, what?
Are you kidding me? I will not stand for this.
Listen, I can bring you in warm.
Or we can bring you in cold. Now turn around.
Paul, are you serious?
I have already told you I had nothing to do with the death of Scotty.
Paul Anthony, under the authority of Coruscant and acting under the direction of Constable Thaddeus, you are under arrest for the murder of Scotty McLaren. Constable, if you would, please.
You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you.
I did not do it.
Will. In a court, you have the right to a trial by jury.
Neil, tell them. You were there. I did not do it.
You have the right to an attorney, but good luck finding one that'll accept this case.
No, I will be exonerated. Llama, check the tape again. Look at the timing of those codes, Llama.
Would you just shut up already?
Neil, you know that I'm innocent.
This feels so familiar. It is like when it's like when Scotty left and I came in. I honestly can't believe it was Paul who did it.
Yeah, but the evidence doesn't lie, Neil. I was asked to find out who did it, and as much as I really didn't like the results, we have to follow the clues.
Well, yeah, I know that. I get that. And the evidence kind of does point in his direction. And, bollocks. Well, look, I mean, you've been running story time really, really well recently. You took over from me. And I am sure the Padawans appreciate the service you're providing. But do you want to...
I'm really not interested in being a full-time host. Thank you. But that's really the last thing I have time for. I have Padawans to teach.
Right, then I suppose I need to find someone new to co-host for me next week on Batu. But who would I find in such a wretched scum hive place? Maybe an Aussie.
Yeah, well, I'll send you a dossier on someone that I think could help host next week's show. They're a fellow TepCon creator.
No. Him?
I mean, unless you have any other leads on someone who knows how to fly this thing.
Yeah, but, how?
No one's ever really gone, Nev. But, Neil, I think it's time to push the button. Neil, did you hear that?
No, I didn't hear anything. Are you okay?
Yeah, this crazy investigation must really be starting to get to me. What are you waiting for, dude? Push the button.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. You got it. Ta-ta for now, folks.
Don't mind if I do.
What's going on? Where the hell are we? Paris?
Thank you for pressing the self-destruct button.
Attention! This is Colonel Sanders in forward command. Abandon ship! Abandon ship! All personnel proceed to escape pods. Close down the circuits. Evacuate the city. Self-destruct mechanism has been activated. Abandon ship! Where is it? It's gotta be here. Out of order! Even in the future, nothing works.
This ship will self-destruct in exactly 10 seconds. Counting down. 10, 9, 8, 6.
What happened to 7?
Just kidding. 3, 2, 1. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Hello, friends. This is Thaddeus from Going Nerdy. The Escape Podcast was filmed in front of a live studio audience full of tweaked out murder bears.
Meanwhile, in outer space, a spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down. Medicine go down. Medicine go down. Just a spoonful of Paul. Paul got arrested.
Sit, boo-boo, sit. Good dog.